Welcome to the Business of Apparel Podcast. This is the place to learn how to start and scale your own apparel brand and fill it with loyal customers for years to come. I'm your host, Rachel Erickson, owner and CEO of Unmarked Street, and I can't wait to share this episode with you. Welcome back to the Business of Apparel Podcast, where today I am going to divert from our plan a little bit. I think we had a different episode scheduled for today. But I kind of want to divert and talk a little bit about current events that are going on, some patterns that I'm starting to notice pop up within our market, within our little segment, within our little niche here of startup apparel brands. And one thing that I first want to bring up is that a lot of the tariff talk that we were doing near the beginning of the year, February, March, a lot of that is starting to, not finally, but like we are starting to now see the effects of all of those different tariffs coming up. I was just reading a headline in an article the other day, basically saying the same thing across other industries. Basically, everybody who was kind of waiting and hoping that the tariffs would maybe be negotiated or hopefully even gone by now are starting to see that because they didn't go away, the shipments that we're now receiving and the production and the items and the units that we're now receiving are being hit with those bills. And so companies are having to raise their prices right now to be able to stay afloat. And if you're a consumer out there wondering, this hasn't happened, like, I don't know what everybody's been talking about. We are just now starting to see some of those effects. And a lot of people are predicting that it's just going to continue to get worse and worse from here. We are seeing that there's some talk that in August, the tariffs that have already been put in place might be going up. Even some countries that were only hit with like a 10% tariff. I want you to know that a 10% tariff might not sound like a lot, but for like a client that we're working for example, who's trying to hit like a 72% margin goal across the board, is really struggling right now because just that 10% tariff on everything that they've been doing costing on for the last 10 years has taken them down to a 68, 67% margin on everything. And when you understand how that impacts not just your direct to consumer business, but also your wholesale business, which they decided to start just a year and a half ago, all of a sudden you're into costing and margins and profits that make wholesale and sales and things like that actually not worth your time, which is the risk that we're all seeing. And these are the detriments that we're all seeing to businesses right now, where because we're no longer in the 70s for direct to consumer margins, the margins that we're hitting when we're taking pieces to wholesale and trying to sell them into wholesale, the margins are so low right now because of the tariffs that it's making us second guess whether we should have even ventured into wholesale, but we've already started selling to them. We've already started making accounts. So the last 6 months have been a really big impact to a lot of businesses, whether they're big businesses, whether they're small businesses. We've been watching a lot of businesses close their doors. And so I want you to know that this is like coming to fruition now, and we may see more of it, right? So those 10% tariffs that impacted what I was just explaining to you might actually be going up to 15 or 20% across the board. And again, the countries that we're putting tariffs on, though, they're not paying any of this unless you're negotiating that with your manufacturer. And that's something you should be talking about with them. Is there a way to split this? Is there a way to share this tariff burden that we're seeing right now? What we are understanding, though, is that if they do go up, we're going to be seeing even more of an impact to everybody's bottom line, which means more raised prices, which means more industry impacts. I have a friend who works in the architecture industry and lumber and all of the goods that they continue to buy for building homes. They're going up exponentially. And especially since a lot of their lumber comes from Canada, what they're experiencing right now is those 25% tariffs that were originally put in place are hitting people hard. People are putting pauses and holds and stops on building their custom homes. And so all of a sudden their business is in trouble. There's a lot that is a trickle down effect for all of that. When you think about how, these tariffs affect the lumber company, which then affects the architecture and the home building segment, which then affects the people who are building those homes, which then affects, the kinds of goods that they can go out and buy. They're not spending their dollars as much because they're pinching their pennies trying to save to finish their home, which affects grocery stores, which affects beauty parlors, which affects cleaning services, which affects, you name it. Everybody is going to start pinching their pennies, and it's going to start to be really difficult for all segments of every industry, because if everybody is holding on to their dollars and holding on to every penny that they possibly can, it's going to start to be felt everywhere. So I just kind of want to warn you on that. That is definitely something that is in the headlines, something that we're seeing. As I always say, and as I've been learning and as I've been applying to my business, this is a great time for you to be working through a worst case scenario situation. So crunching your numbers based on what is the worst case, what kind of decisions do I need to be making as the CEO and leader of my company to make sure that we stay afloat? What kind of either funding do you need? What kind of loans do you need? Who do you maybe need to take from full-time to part-time? Who do you maybe need to take off your books because they're not contributing to your bottom line right now? And those are really tough decisions to have to make as a CEO, but you have to do it. And having kind conversations, if you need to put a pause on a contract or lay someone off, it's never enjoyable, but keeping people on who are not contributing to your bottom line can become a detriment to your business right now, because things might start to get really, really tough for all of us. So I want to throw that out there. And I want you to know that if you can figure out how to survive through these really tough times, those of us who do figure it out, who crunch on those worst case scenarios and make really tough decisions and figure out how to stay afloat, are going to be the ones that when things turn around, things will get better. They will. They always do. We're going to be the ones to kind of reap the rewards, because we're still going to be standing. We're going to have figured out a system that worked for us even in tough times. It's going to work even better for us in really good times. So I want you to take this time to really be thinking about how to put systems in place for your business, how to survive, basically, and not just survive, but thrive. If you can figure out how to thrive during this time, crunch your numbers in a way that makes sense. Maybe you do need to raise your retail prices, but work with your community, work with your customer segment to let them know why and help them to understand how they can support you during this time. I think that's all really, really important. Getting out there on social media and letting people know the reality of what's happening behind the scenes of your company. People appreciate that kind of honesty and that kind of upfrontedness. So don't be afraid to get yourself out there and do those kinds of things. Okay. I also want to kind of hit really quick on the fact that these are the times where we need to start betting on ourselves, right? Just like I said, like figuring out how to succeed and thrive during a time like this means betting on yourself and having the confidence to know that you will get through it. Without that kind of mental fortitude, this is going to be incredibly hard for you. This economy that we're about to go into, if we think it's been hard, it may be about to get even harder. And so having the mental fortitude, having a plan, having a process, knowing that your team knows what exactly they should be doing to hit goals. What are the minimums that they need to be doing? Do they need to make at least one sale for you every month for the remainder of the year? What is something realistic that they can get to that you can give to them, so that they know how to help your business survive and thrive? These are the kinds of things that we are helping our members with and our clients with on a daily basis. I will say the amount of joy and the amount of fun that we're actually having in our annual membership right now, the board, is astonishing considering how hard things have been. We are celebrating big wins every single week. Our members are moving forward with purpose and with clarity because they get the chance to work with us on a weekly basis and understand what the next right steps are. And because I've got my ears so close to the ground on all of this stuff going on, we're able to get information to them in real time, which means they're saving a lot of money, they're saving a lot of time, they're moving forward despite how difficult things are. And so I want you to know that there are definitely opportunities out there for you to help you get through any hardship that this time might bring. And I really do want to invite you to check out some of our memberships. While this might sound like a sales pitch, I want you to know that the purpose and the love that we have for our membership is all about helping our members get through this in a way that feels really, really good. I mean, imagine going through one of the hardest times in your business in a way that's fully supported, feels fun, feels good, and you have like joy and happiness through the entire process because you're surrounded by like-minded individuals who are also building their businesses, who are also going through the same hardships, and we're raising each other up, we're helping each other. And what I'm seeing is just, it's the most fulfilled I have ever felt in my entire long career by helping our members do what they're doing right now. And so I want you to know that we are opening up a couple of different ways for you to become a board member. We're doing a couple of different trial memberships that you can come in if you're like, I really want to try this. $3,500 for an entire year is bonkers crazy cheap, you guys. Like when I started my company and I took a big bet on myself and I invested in myself, I spent $30,000 in my first year in business and I wasn't making any money yet. And I knew that I was going to need the highest level of help. And so I joined a group cohort coaching program for $30,000 that first year. So for us to be offering a similar program with the same kind of support and care that I got in that first program for just $3,500 a year is a steal right now. We understand that the economy is tough. We understand that it's hard for you to open up your budgets to $3,500. And so that's why we have it so low. But we are also now figuring out how to offer different ways to get in at even lower prices. So you could join a quarterly membership or an annual membership that doesn't get all the bells and whistles for the full board membership, but you could try it out. You can see how we teach, you can see how we support, and then you can make the decision for yourself to see if it's even worth it. So under $500 or under $200 to be able to get in and try that out. I want you to know that these are the kinds of decisions of like if you're thinking about where should your money be going right now, it's betting on yourself. It's trying to figure out how to get your business to thrive during this time, how to put systems in place in your business. And that's what we teach. Are you sick of being stuck on the sidelines of the apparel industry and you just want to be put in the game? Then join our 100% free workshop, Secrets Behind Billion-Dollar Apparel Brands, and learn the strategies, tactics, and secrets used by the most successful companies in the world. We'll cover everything from setting your brand standards to big brand line planning and executive level processes. In this workshop, you're going to learn how to name your target customer, rationalize your line, calculate product margins, roll up your revenue, and see potential profits while figuring out how to build a unique calendar for your brand. You're going to learn that and so much more. Are you ready to take your apparel business to the next level? Sign up today and use code PODCAST for a 10% discount on the full Business of Apparel online course or any of our mini courses after the workshop. Visit www.thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets to register. Don't miss out. And people ask me a lot, what makes you unique? What makes your program different from anybody else's? Well, a lot of our competitors out there do have amazing programs, and we don't want to deter you from joining the program that's right for you because they have all started, great startup businesses of their own. A lot of them have their own apparel lines that were successful and they started from a startup place. But what we don't see and what makes us unique is that we have worked inside the corporate side of the apparel industry for decades. I bring an entire team to you through our program. It's not just me. So it's not just one person heading up this program. You don't just get one coach who's done something maybe great, but just one thing that allows them to have a coaching program. What we've done is help billion-dollar, million-dollar, six-figure brands figure out how to scale and grow across the board. We've been working with dozens and dozens of brands, not just inside our own. And so what we're able to bring to you is the experience of how those companies went from nothing. Think about Nike went from a single running shoe back in the 70s. Like that's how they started. And now they're a billion-dollar company. And how did they get there? Well, you need someone who's been inside that industry, who's worked for places like Nike and Adidas and Specialized and Abercrombie and Fitch and you name it, Disney. Those are the kinds of brands that we bring the experience from that we can give you the information of, right? So how did they go from being nothing to billion-dollar brands? And we were able to sit at the executive tables to understand how they broke down their business processes, how they do their annual, monthly, seasonal meetings, and how they do their different finances and how they work from nothing to quite a lot. And so we've seen some huge progress all the way from taking a $25 million brand to a $60 million brand in a single year, taking a $16 million brand to $60 million the next year. There's a lot that we have experience in that way. And so if you're looking for someone to reveal to you the secrets of how those biggest brands are actually working, there are not a lot of other companies or teams out there doing it. So that's what our unique stance is. And if that sounds like that would be really helpful to you, you're pretty much only going to find it through us. And so we invite you to come try it out. We invite you to come become a board member so that you can support your business during this really tough time. But what I'm noticing most, and I actually had this conversation with my therapist the other day, we were talking a little bit about my family dynamic and how as a kid, I was really pushed to be ambitious and to be top of my class and to excel. And that, while at first, when I first started therapy, while at first we kind of had to dig into how that had affected me in some negative ways throughout my adult life, we've been able to really crunch through over the years together how to turn that into a superpower. And so when I think about that right now, like we were having a conversation just a couple days ago about how that has allowed me to get to a point where I do bet on myself. I do jump into a $30,000 a year coaching program because I know I can turn that into a return on investment for myself. I have that confidence in myself. I'm willing to bet on myself, and I'm willing to put money down to say, like, if I learn this stuff, I know I can apply it. I know I can make my business thrive. And if you're starting a business or you're thinking about starting a business, I know you believe in your idea, right? You have to believe in your idea to come up with a business and to start putting it out there. I know you do. Without the belief in your idea, you wouldn't start a business. Like that, you just wouldn't. And if you don't believe in your idea and you don't believe in yourself, like you really need to, I think, do some searching inside your own heart to figure out what you're doing starting a business that you don't believe in, because you're never going to get anywhere with your business if you don't at least believe in your idea. But I will say you have to figure out how to start believing in yourself too. And my business has been so successful from the beginning. I've been a 6-figure company every single year. We are seeing exponential growth this year in 2025 in one of the hardest economies we've ever seen. We're on track to 4 times grow my business this year over last year. And so if you're wondering how you can make the same bets on yourself, you have to jump into something so that you can be learning. I've been reading Think and Grow Rich recently, and one of the chapters entirely in Think and Grow Rich is about the fact that people who do not set themselves up for continued learning and who do not believe in the fact that they can learn more as they continue on in their lives, like learning doesn't stop when you graduate school, and it shouldn't stop when you graduate school. And the fashion industry doesn't force you into continued education, right? We don't say you have to take more classes. You don't have to keep going to school to keep certifications or to keep your jobs in this industry, right? So you can join this industry and be stagnant. And you can figure out how to just stay and work a 9-to-5 and make a decent salary in this industry right now. But that even right now is a huge risk because there's layoffs all over the place. If you're not the person who is stepping up, stepping out, learning more things, taking courses, figuring out how to elevate your role and yourself, you might find yourself on the chopping block next, because there are going to be other people out there who are proving that they want it more. And they're proving that they want it more by learning more, by sitting with other departments and learning what they do, by taking online digital courses and figuring out how to understand the entire picture of the industry. And so if you're not figuring out how to learn, how to network in Think and Grow Rich, the other part that's huge is like joining a mastermind. Join a group of people who are like-minded, who can help you figure out how to make more money, who can help you figure out how to grow rich, how to grow your company. And so if you're not doing these things and you're not betting on yourself and you're not learning all the time and you're not joining a community or joining a network, these are the kinds of things that are going to make your business harder to grow. And so we're inviting you once again just to come check those boxes with us. We're offering it at a price that is incredibly low. We think that this program is well worth at least $20,000 a year, but we want to offer it to you at a time and at a price that feels more reasonable. And if $3,500 right now, you're like, oh my God, I cannot afford that, and this lady's crazy saying that that's cheap, I want you to know that if you can't muster up the courage to bet on yourself with $3,500 for an entire year, that's under $300 a month. For $300 a month, if you can't bet on yourself for $300 a month in your company, you get to write that off. It's a total write-off for your company. You can deduct it from your taxes next year. If you can't do that for yourself, I really want you to question whether you're ready to go into this really tough time with your business. Because if you can't make those kinds of commitments for yourself, if you can't have that courage, if you can't have that belief in yourself, if you can't know that learning and community and those kinds of things that are being offered to you, and maybe our program isn't the right program, but go bet on yourself with somebody. Go join some sort of group. Go find some sort of coach, someone who's been there, done that. I've been seeing all over social media, me and all of the other people in this same space trying to offer you help, trying to offer you our knowledge. And yeah, we're not going to offer it for free. Look, this is a business. This is a market. This is an economy in which we all need to figure out how to support each other and grow. We can't offer everything for free. And the other piece of that we all know as coaches is that if we continue to offer everything for free, you are going to continue to ignore us. Like, have you ever heard the saying, when you pay attention? That one hit me hard when I first heard it. Like, when you pay attention. For a while when I was like writing my business plan and stuff, I was doing a whole bunch of different free webinars, free ways of looking at, how do I get into social media? How do I learn Pinterest? How do I do all these things? I was getting all the free downloads and I was learning barely nothing. And I will say I was ignoring a lot of it, right? Like, I would download this PDF and it would sit on my computer, but I wouldn't look at it because it was free. It didn't mean anything to me. So when you pay attention, right? If you pay $300 a month to come be a member of either our group or someone else's group, you are going to show up. You're going to learn the things. You're going to make the time. And one of the things that we really enforce inside the board is that we only want you to spend like 2 to 3 hours a week learning how to grow your business, learning how to set up your systems, spending time with your community, understanding what they're going through, feeling like you have camaraderie with other people, feeling like you have connection with other people, learn from other people, learn from the experts. 2 to 3 hours a week. That's it. That's all we want you to give. But you're going to spend that 2 to 3 hours a week actually doing the stuff that you need to do, watching the videos, doing the homework, showing up to office hours, asking the questions in the community, getting the answers that you need. You're going to do that if you actually pay a little bit of money into it as opposed to getting it for free. So for those of you out there who have been telling me like, you shouldn't be out here spending anything right now. The economy is so hard. We want everything for free. I want you to know that we're pivoting very hard against that, because all of the people in this space, and I can call them my competitors, sure, but I actually think they're our collaborators because they're all at the same level that we are. We're trying to help you. We're trying to get you information that you need. We're not going to be giving it away for free very easily anymore because you're not paying attention when you're getting it for free. And you're not helping your business grow when you're just downloading some PDF and then it lives inside your download folder forever. We want you to have the opportunity to actually learn and grow with us. And so, yes, it is going to cost a little bit of money, and we are lowering our prices so that it is much more accessible to you. But again, you have to make this bet on yourself. You have to be willing to step into something new. If you continue doing what you've been doing and expect things to change or expect to get through this time in the economy right now, you might be deluding yourself. I'm just going to put that out there. And I know that if you know me by now, like, you know that I'm willing to come out here and tell you the hard truth. I'm trying to say it with as much kindness as I possibly can. I don't want you to feel frustrated, but I want you to know that there are opportunities out there to get through this in a really healthy, wonderful, joyous, happy way. But you have to be willing to jump in. You have to take that bet on yourself. You have to have the confidence that it can happen. You have to have that mentality. And so inside our group, not only do we do office hours week, but we do a Monday mentality call where I shoot something for you. I post it in the group. I really want you to be curating, a money mindset, a winner's mindset, a growth mindset. And so we're working on that with our group all the time as well. Again, I really invite you to come join us. If you want to, you can check out a short video. We have a 10-minute video on everything you need to know about the board program and the additional programs that we're going to be offering to you going forward so that you can test it out if you want. You would go to thebusinessofapparel.com/the-board, THE-BOARD. And so that's how you can check us out. If you're interested, just message me anywhere that you possibly can. Come into my Instagram DMs. You can comment right here on YouTube if you're watching. You can go to our website, thebusinessofapparel.com. Send me a message in there. Let me know that you're in. We would love to welcome you. We would love to have you be part of our community. We would love to see the kind of success for you that we're seeing for our other members, because it is just so much fun right now. And we are getting through this in a way that is kind of unprecedented. Like, I just can't speak highly enough about the members that we have in the group, the way that they're supporting each other, the way that they're guiding each other, the way that they're helping each other, and me and my team, and the way that they're showing up inside these groups too. We are doing teachings from our production manager, our lead product developer, our sustainability expert, and you get to hear from me. And so there are a lot of great opportunities to learn from a variety of different voices inside the board, which is something that you don't always get in every single program. So again, I invite you to go to thebusinessofapparel.com/the-board and come check it out and let me know if you're in. I would love to hear from you. If you liked this episode or you think someone else could benefit from it, please send it to them, share it with them. And if you get a chance to write us a review, we love to hear from our community. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Business of Apparel podcast. I would so appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show. And if you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it with them. My biggest desire is to help other apparel professionals understand the nuances of our industry so we can all work toward making better product for a better world. If you would like to connect further, I'd love to invite you to send me a message through my website, thebusinessofapparel.com, where I do weekly trainings through my YouTube video channel, a weekly newsletter, blog articles, and so many more resources to help you start and scale a profitable apparel brand. This podcast is produced by Box 7 Media, who I cannot speak highly enough of. If you're looking to start your own podcast, you can reach out to Jeremy at Box 7 Media on LinkedIn anytime.